Today, a 19-year-old is often expected to spend their time on video games or avoiding the pressures of adult life. But 1,400 years ago, a 19-year-old was expected to lead an army of battle-hardened veterans. Usama ibn Zayd was a teenager when he was appointed to lead a major military expedition to the Levant. He commanded men twice his age, directing seasoned warriors into a territory known for its hostility and strategic complexity. Then there was Musab ibn Umair. In his early 20s, he was sent alone to the city of Yathrib, now Medina, as an ambassador. Within a single year, his character and conviction shifted the allegiance of the entire city. Compare those feats to the struggle of the young Muslim today. We are caught in a digital tide of secular hustle culture that ties our self-worth to constant performance. When the weight of that comparison leads to burnout, we are often told our struggle is simply a sign of weak faith. Replacing modern self-help with a 1,400-year-old Islamic framework is the path to reclaiming your identity. It provides the specific tools that you need to build the kind of discipline that once moved nations. Secular motivation depends on external validation. You work for the promotion, the grade, or the social media likes. When your drive relies on material outcomes, you stay trapped in a cycle of comparison that has no finish line. This loop is fueled by what Islamic psychology calls nafs el-amara, the commanding self. This impulsive part of the ego seeks immediate gratification and praise. Hustle culture feeds this state directly. You get a temporary energy spike from external attention, but it inevitably crashes into burnout. This creates a double life where many young Muslims feel they have to mask their faith to fit into performance-driven, secular environments. Trying to keep up with these external demands is what leads to true exhaustion. Breaking this cycle requires shifting the source of your drive. You move away from seeking the approval of others and toward a system of internal spiritual mastery. The first pillar is niyyah, or intention. When you frame everyday tasks, like studying for a degree or finishing a project, as acts of worship, your motivation no longer depends on the immediate reward. You succeed the moment your intention is set. We see this in the story of the Ashab al-Kahf, the people of the cave. These young men had no political power or wealth. They simply intended to stand firm in their belief against a corrupt society. For that internal choice, their story was preserved for eternity. The second pillar relies on two psychological shields, sabr and tawakkul. Sabr is the active, resilient endurance required to stay focused, and tawakkul is the trust you place in the final result. This mechanism allows for intense focus without the typical stress of outcomes. You exert your maximum personal effort, the tying of the camel, and then you release the outcome anxiety to Allah. Prophet Yusuf relied on this discipline to survive betrayal, slavery, and false imprisonment. He remained steadfast through years of hardship, eventually rising from a prison cell to manage the affairs of all of Egypt. When your self-worth is tied to the effort and the intention, rather than a fragile worldly result, your motivation remains steady regardless of the setbacks you face. The third pillar is futuwah, or spiritual chivalry. This is a code of elite character that demands altruism, humility, and the courage to serve a purpose higher than your own comfort. Musab ibn Umair was once the wealthiest and most stylish young man in Mecca. He walked away from that status and luxury to serve a mission that offered him nothing but physical hardship. That sacrifice is the essence of futuwah. The fourth pillar is ihsan, or excellence. This is the constant awareness that God sees your actions. When you work with that awareness, you don't need a manager or an app to stop you from procrastinating. You demand quality from yourself as a matter of integrity. Zayd ibn Thabit was only 13 when he began his service. The Prophet recognized his sharp intellect and tasked him with learning foreign languages for diplomacy. Because of his consistent excellence, he was later entrusted to lead the massive project of compiling the Quran. When you view your character and work ethic as acts of spiritual chivalry, you stop competing with your peers. You start competing with the standard of excellence you know you are capable of reaching. High-level concepts only work if you have a daily system to execute them. The fifth pillar is the Barakah morning routine. In this system, we seek Barakah, or divine blessing, in our time. This acts as a multiplier, allowing you to accomplish more in a condensed window, because your mind is fresh and your schedule is aligned with spiritual growth. The routine starts before sunrise. You wake for the Fajr prayer, use the quiet of the night for tahajjud if possible, and ground yourself with dhikr. Then you move immediately into your most difficult work before the rest of the world creates distractions. You have to avoid the Barakah robbers. Checking your phone in bed fragments your focus instantly, and going back to sleep after Fajr kills the discipline you just built. Winning that first hour sets a pattern of discipline that carries through the rest of your day. It creates a space where your intentions and your actions stay aligned. This system centers on the refinement of the soul for the hereafter. When your ambitions align with a purpose beyond this material world, your perspective on work and success changes. Worldly impact becomes a consequence of that spiritual discipline. Yusuf rose to power through years of prison and struggle, and Mossab changed a city through total sacrifice. Their influence was the natural byproduct of their spiritual focus. Tomorrow morning, try this. Wake up for Fajr and refuse to go back to sleep. Take that first hour of distraction-free Barakah and apply it to your most difficult goal. Focus on the effort and let go of the result. Subscribe to join this community of faith-based self-mastery. Then, comment below and tell us which of these 5 pillars you are committing to master first. We'll see you in the next one.